Another great collaborative tool that is available for teachers and students is Google Keep. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk not so much about all that Google Keep does, but just on the collaborative features of it. So, to start a note, you start right here at the top and you're able to add a title. I'm going to add a student now. You type in their email, you're able to select the student, and you save it. After that, you can add multiple students if you would like to do so. Once that has happened, the student will then visit their Google Keep. They may have to refresh the screen if it doesn't appear right away, but then they can then click on the note and open it up. I have two devices with me right now. You can't see my student device, but I'm looking at the exact same note at the same time. So just remember, you can always refresh right here. If you want to take a note, let's say I'm on my student device and I start taking a note. And it is completely live, just like it is with a Google Doc. Yes, you can type notes and whatnot, but this is also a great tool for keeping track of what is accomplished in a project because of the fact that it includes checkboxes. So to get checkboxes, I click on the three dots and I hit show checkboxes. This is all happening on my other device as well. So I can say and keep track of the entire list all simultaneously. As students complete different tasks, what you could do is you could specify who's supposed to complete a task just by putting in their name in parentheses. When the student completes that task, I can go over to the student device and I can hit the check mark and it shows that it's completed on the list. One thing that's kind of fun is that you can change the order of these items. So I can actually grab a hold of list items and change the order of them, and it's completely live for both individuals that are working on this note. Now, some things aren't as live as I'd like. Like, for example, if I change the color on my note, it does not affect my classmate. Also, you can do things like add labels. Labels are great for keeping track of what note is what. So if I wanted to add a label and use this to keep track of a student project, I could call this group the Eagles, and I could talk about what the project is. So I have two labels here, Google Keep and the Eagles. This allows me to keep track of what these groups are doing. So if I go down here and I find my group called the Eagles, I can see that group. If I want to see all the projects all in one shot, I can go to Google Keep because that was the project name, and I could see any notes that would have to do with Google Keep. And it would show every single one of them. This is a great way to keep tabs of where students are in their project work. Now, another great thing about Google Keep is the ability to draw. And this is semi-live. So I'll go through some of those steps. It's a little tricky though. So I'm going to go right here to the three dots and you can add a drawing. Drawing on a touchscreen Chromebook is fantastic within Google Keep. So I'm going to say, hello. And when I hit the back button, it actually will insert it into the Google Keep note. Once I've done that, then it will actually appear for my student as well. However, if there are some syncing issues, you may have to hit the refresh button, or you may have to close Google Keep altogether and reopen it. Now it's appeared on my student device, and when I click on the drawing, and when I click on the drawing on mine, we are looking at the exact same note at the same time. I'm going to go over to my student device, and let's say that the student wants to highlight something that was written that they thought was important. So they have that capability on their own device. So as the student highlighted that, it appeared on my device. Another thing that's cool is that students have the ability to jot down ideas and they can be moved around. So I'm going to write down, and it appears on both screens. If I want to organize these, and I'm going to go full screen here so that way I have a little more real estate to work with, I can actually grab a hold of this written part right here. It creates a box around it, and then I'm able to actually move this item around. It will actually appear in a different location on my student device as well. If I want to adjust this idea and move it around, I can grab a hold of it, I can shrink it down, and I can move it to a different location. This allows you to categorize and organize ideas all simultaneously. Google Keep also has a zooming feature. So with two fingers, I'm going to switch back to my pen. And with two fingers, I can zoom in on specific parts if need be. So that way I can get those fine-tuning writing skills. You do have an undo button if necessary, and you do have a full screen button right here to adjust the full screen. Now, if I want to do a new drawing, I go up here to the three dots and I hit new drawing. Once I've added a second drawing, it will now appear down here that I have drawing 1 and drawing 2. And I can add additional drawings, as well as your classmates can as well when they're within this note. Now, for this to appear for your group members, the group members may need to exit out of the note, refresh the screen, and click back on the drawings. Once they've done that, they will now have access to 2 drawings. So now my student over here has the ability to write on this note. And I have the ability to mark and write around their ideas as well. Now, anytime there is a new drawing added, the student may need to back out so that they can see the entire drawing. If that doesn't show all 3 drawings, because right now on my student device I have 3, what I may need to do is I may need to close this note and refresh the screen and then re-enter the drawings. Another tip is that the creator of the drawing may need to back out of the drawing, which is up here, to back out. And then when they re-enter it, it will sync up with the group members. This is pretty typical. Sometimes it requires some extra syncing when it comes to brand new drawings. But then once you are both in the drawing at the same time, it is completely live and you can both work on it simultaneously. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about when it comes to collaboration within a Google Keep Note, a fantastic feature is the ability to copy this all to a Google Doc. So when I hit copy to Google Doc, it'll come down here and it'll say copying to Google Docs. It's going to then say open doc, and I'm able to open up this fresh doc, and then I can share it with the exact same students. It's going to import all my drawings, and it's going to import all my notes and things that were even checked off. This is an additional piece that could be added to a group assignment as part of the proof of their planning stages.